Hello YouTube, it's Earl here. It's a pleasant Sunday evening here in Louisiana, and it's time for a tobacco review. So let's get to it. Tonight, I plan on reviewing Fillmore. So if you've seen my first impression video of it, you'll know a lot of my thoughts that I have on it right now. But let's dive in. I'm going to try and keep this to a brief video. So Fillmore, it is a GLP's cut. Fillmore is it's a flake tobacco. I'd call it a broken flake. And here is the tin description by Mr. Pease. A thick sliced broken flake in the Scottish tradition. Ripe red Virginia tobaccos are combined with a generous measure of fine Louisiana Perique and then pressed to marry the components and deepen the flavors. The cakes are sliced and gently broken before tinning. Fillmore presents an elegant sweetness and delightful piquancy, enhanced by a creamy richness that develops throughout the bowl. Sit back and enjoy a lovely leisurely smoke. So it is in the tin. It's got Virginias and Perique per the tin description, but there's a little something else in here too that I really wouldn't have known had I not been to GLP's website. But like I said, it's broken flakes. See if you can see that. Don't know that you can. There you go. Yeah, and that's what you get in the tin. So you kind of get no real flakes in there, just kind of broken up, jumbled mess. When you open the tin, you get a nice fruitiness, a real nice fruitiness. It's, but it's almost, and I would say that that's from the Perique itself, but it's almost to the side of being sweet enough and fruity enough, and maybe even in the grape vein of sweetness that you almost begin to suspect some sort of casing or topping. And as I kind of told you about some of my attempts at home blending recently, everything virtually is cased. And so anyway, that would be my guess, is that there's probably some sort of light casing to sweeten this blend up. But it's a broken flake. You can rub it out really easily, just like every other broken flake by Cornell and Deal or GLP's. It really breaks up easy. The tin moisture is just about perfect, so you can smoke it right out of the tin. And it's a good blend. So let me kind of get into it a little bit. Tonight, I'm smoking this in my El Tang Basic. Let's see if you got that. There you go. Nice little poker, rusticated poker by Mr. El Tang. So let's get into it. There is a little bit of harshness when you first get going on this blend. And I don't know if that's because if maybe the Virginias are young, maybe it's the Perique. I don't know what it is, but within the first quarter of a bowl, you really almost got to power through it, to tell you the truth. Because there's almost a flavor there. I don't know how to describe it. It's just harshness. And I don't like it. But when you do get through it, okay, there is developed a very creamy smoke after that. On a flavor scale, I'd say it's medium, what that smoke is, but there's a real mouthfeel to it. It's a good, just kind of basic smoke. There is a good amount of sweetness in there. I mean, I don't mean just a little bit of sweetness. I mean sugary sweetness. And that probably is from the Perique. I find the blends very forgiving. once you kind of get past that initial points, that it just kind of moves into this own thing, and it just comes out very pleasant. I don't have many wide-ranging words for you tonight about the different components. It's just it's a good blend, good smoke. It's a good Virginia Perique smoke. At times the Perique really does kind of take over, and you move into more of some of those darker notes, and so when you get along with that and some of the sweetness, it just it really works from a it's just a good tasty blend. One of the things that I kind of mentioned earlier, that had I not been on the GLP's website, I don't think I would have realized it. It's not in the description here, and I really wouldn't have noticed it had I not read it. But Mr. Pease writes on his website that Fillmore actually has Latakia in it. He said under 3%, so a very small amount of Latakia, very small amount. But it's there, and the next time I picked up the tin and I opened it up and I put my nose to it, I could smell it. Now, it's not heavy like a English blend or anything like that. It's just this faint note in the background of this smoky, barbecue-y flavor, right? And so it's there, and it works, and it does its thing, and that would be my guess as to what maybe some of that creaminess is. Maybe some burleys in there too, not because I taste them. Although what I do get in the mid bowl maybe be a burley flavor. Again, this is just a guess because of how much mouthfeel it has, how much smoke it can produce. I think that's one of the things I really like about this blend. I know that's crazy, but being a cigar smoker first and a pipe smoker second, really sets me to looking for volumes of smoke. And so it produces a good amount of smoke, but it's got a good Virginia Perique blend that's got a good amount of sweetness, and it works. One thing I'd caution you on is I find that I think it's got a good bit more nicotine than most, and that certainly would make sense to me, especially if there's a good amount of Perique in there. The only blend that's ever really put me on my rear end was Shanae's Cake, which is a Perique and Virginia blend, and it's heavy Perique, and it's one that's made me really feel the nicotine. And so I don't know what the component of nicotine in there is, but I've certainly felt it a couple of times, and I normally don't feel smoke. I didn't let this dry at all tonight. I took it right out of the tin a couple of minutes before I started the video up. I didn't even break the flakes up, didn't rub them out, just stuffed them in and lit. And like I said, it's a pretty forgiving blend. It produces a good amount of smoke. I've already showed you my El Tang pipe here, and it's a good pipe. If I could give it one knock, it has a tendency to, about halfway through the bowl, after I've packed it down, moisture will collect in the bottom, and it doesn't gurgle as much as it. That was a horrible noise for me to make. I'll probably cut that. It doesn't much gurgle as much as it whistles. And just makes it difficult to smoke. So when I smoke with it, I have to keep my handy dandy pipe cleaner nearby. Well, gang, That's it. Spring has sprung over here. The pollen is out. It's driving me crazy. Hope it doesn't drive any of y'all crazy. But that's it. Fillmore is an excellent Virginia Perique blend. I love it. I'll smoke some more of it. You just got to get through that first quarter of the bowl. With that, guys, it's Earl. See you around.